Welcome back to day 4 of Masters Madrid and our second elimination match of the day. It's going to be the hometown heroes of Team Heretics going up against PRX. Of course, I'm the current man yelling at UGB, and I'm, of course, joined on the desk yet again by Mimi and Mitch. They were on the schedule, so we just decided to commit. So, guys, this is going to be a fun one because we have two teams, two very different trajectories as they have found themselves in this point. But what is really fascinating about this is, like, it's weird to be talking about PRX in this context given the year that they had last year, but even one player being removed from this team really has changed the complexion of it.
Yeah, PRX right now really reminds me of where they were sitting at the beginning of last year when they were still finding themselves at the start of that Pacific season, where they're playing a bunch of different comps. Some of their maps look really good, the ideas look fleshed out. Others look like they're trying to slot Manette into a role that's not fully comfortable, and they've really lost a lot of the consistency that they had here as a result. And on the other hand, Mitch, Heretics has been, their stocks have been rising the whole year.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a roster that even has to play with a stand-in as well. Remember, due to age restrictions, this is somewhere, and they've had to play with a player online, regionally as well, which you could talk about advantages or disadvantages to that. The reality is, though, they've exceeded expectations. Young guns like Miniboo should be facing their shaky trial on the international stage, or at least even regionally, coming up against some big names, big teams, but they haven't stumbled the whole way through. They have just looked like a better and better squad as time goes on.
Yep.
That's kind of what I expect from a team with Benji Fishy. He's a guy that has his eyes on the long game, and it looks like they've already found success early on.
He's got that fish in him.
He has, sure, yeah.
He does.
That was a guttural laugh from me, I'm sorry. I was going to make a joke about the fishermen, but instead we're going to talk about the Boo Bros instead. I am glad you mentioned them here because I definitely feel like this one thing I love to see is, you know, brothers on the stage, you know, having each other's back, playing at the level that they're playing at. But Mini Boo has been outstanding. Boo has been unreal. Like, this team, like, these two brothers are killing it.
Yeah, the way they're comboing, and you're seeing a lot of examples here with different pieces of utility. The neon stun and so on has always been fun to watch. But this here, ult in the backside, on the back of an Astra wall, coming out of it. They had no idea what they were walking into on the other side for Sentinels. This was one of the more inventive plays that we saw out of these brothers, but they were doing this all tournament long. That's what some of the first clips were showing, the way that they were constantly looking to open up space together and combo their util.
It's a similarity to PRX in the past, where I look at the strength of this team being the little set util plays they have, right? It's not a squad where you look at them and they're going to have a lot of like super hard sight hits where they're fully investing into something, but they have a lot of ideas in the mid round for these little combinations that they execute on really well, and they're finding the timings to use that seemingly always perfectly, and it adds a lot of depth to their play.
Yeah, of course, we'll see whether or not this Heretics team can. This Heretics team can. Oh my God, I'm like stumbling on my words here. Heretics team, can they continue it? I'm sure they definitely can. But for now, though, I'm going to stop talking. Let's actually go ahead, though, and continue on this conversation here because it does feel like, at the very least, you know, they need all the pieces of this team in order to click here, including the coaching staff. And you saw that happen in that last matchup, Mimi.
Yeah, you absolutely did. I mean, during that halftime interview, Nilzinho was talking about the fact that, hey, they came out here, they weren't playing confident enough the first map, they were letting Sentinels exec on them every round. He gives that feedback. They come back into map number 2, and they look so incredibly confident. They're executing perfectly. Mini Boo on the Neon is being so incredibly proactive. This is a team who's showing up on their, like, first LAN match for one of their players, for the first international event for the majority of these players. And after just one map, they looked comfortable against the team that I think most people are considering the forerunner right now in Madrid.
Definitely after the results that we've seen come through, right? Coming in, I would have brought my EMEA bias to have an argument about that. But the reality is, you know, I'm facing facts now. Starting to think maybe NA looks pretty strong. I mean, one of the better players we have in EMEA now is an NA player. I don't know. Everything's
upside down.
It is.
But you know what? Good Valorant. That's what's most important here. And I think what makes this really interesting is that it's a Heretics team that, you know, had a lot of changes that they needed to make going into this year. And not only did they do so, but they did so in a way that just brought all these different backgrounds together to really try and create this almost like an international super team, if you will. And it has been working out very very well for Heretics. I'm excited to see what they do in this matchup, man.
Yeah, they have a lot of ideas around like global control as well, which is interesting considering some of their comps, like what they ran up against Sentinels, had no Sentinels. They ended up getting flanked from extremities constantly in those matchups. But at the same time, then you look at their bind composition, where there's this constant harassment between Astra. This is another element that I was trying to find the clips, but you know, you don't want to pack the show too much. It's the fact that you have Astra stars go down, smokes bloom, and then the decoys or the gate crash faked out inside of it, where your opponents now have to be worried about their back because there could be a Yoru about to flash out an exec a play. And in fact, a lot of the time it's used just for those rotations to draw the players off site and allow the actual exec to be cleaner. I love a lot of the innovation that Heretics have brought to the table in that aspect.
Yeah, great ideas across the board. And I mean, of course, we can only expect some more great ideas as we get ready for this game. But for now, though, let's actually send it over to Mika as we jump ship to the other side to get a word with PRX's coach, Alex.
Hey Alex, really important match coming up. A lot of people have noticed that there's less W coming from W Gaming. I was wondering if this is something that the team is still adjusting to, or is this like the start of a new style of PRX?
Yeah, I mean, W Gaming is 2023, you know, so we got to try and figure something out for this year.
All right, well, I'm eager to see what that is.
Not wanting to give away too much here. Completely understand that. PRX playing it close to the chest.
They absolutely are. And yesterday in their game, we saw the anger from Coach Alex coming out. Because let's be honest, that game was a bit of a mess, especially on map number 3 from this PRX squad. Yeah. They rock out with this composition with no Sentinel. They're leaving gaps. They're getting flanked. We're seeing so many of these mistakes that I think we've seen from PRX before. This is really a team of highs and lows. And you can see how invested their coach is when they're struggling.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see. You wouldn't like to see no passion up there, but at the same time,
his poor desk.
That poor desk it's getting its run for its money, that's for sure. The reality is, you can understand why this is a coach that's so invested in the success of this squad, considering the success that they've had in the past. But going through an identity change without Jing, we always knew this was going to be a thing. Nobody on earth plays the game the way that Jing does, so you're going to have to find a new identity. And the question is, how long is it going to take? Because they don't have much wiggle room anymore.
Yeah, well, of course, listen, talk about Heretics real fast here as we get ready for this one. I think, you know, as the players start to make their way in, this is certainly going to be quite the challenge here for both squads. I really want to see if PRX is going to just give us something just a little bit different coming into this one. They're going to need it.
Yeah, they absolutely will. But I think at this point, it's not going to be time to change comps, to change big ideas. It's going to have to be a lot more about the adaptation. And quite honestly, individual form on the day, I think we absolutely need to see more out of Munyet in this match. He's being put in positions where sometimes he is expected to play similar to a player like Jing. So we need more from PRX.
All right, folks. Well, let's see how this all pans out as we get ready for this match to begin. It's going to be PRX taking on Heretics. Let's go ahead and see where we're playing.
All right, welcome to Map Select presented by OMEN for match 2 of the day. We'll go ahead and jump in. Heretics, you are higher seed, Team A or Team B?
Team B.
Team B, so PRX, you will be Team A. We will start with your first ban.
Breeze.
Breeze?
Yep.
Your ban?
Ban Ascent.
Ban what, sorry?
Ascent.
Ascent. And then map number 1 from PRX.
Sunset.
Sunset, side on Sunset.
Defense.
Defense. And map number 2 from Heretics.
Pick Lotus.
Lotus, side on Lotus.
Attack.
Attack. Next set of bans starting with PRX, you have Bind, Icebox, and Split.
Icebox.
Icebox. Your ban, you have Bind and Split.
Ban Bind.
Ban Bind. Map number 3 is going to be Split. PRX, side on Split.
Attack.
Attack. All right, good luck to you both.
Good luck. Good luck.
Heretics playing in front of the hometown crowd. It's going to be a difficult task for PRX, but this team is no slouch when it comes to fighting in unfamiliar and some might say hostile territories. They had to do it against, an NA favorite crowd in EG when they played them, years ago. What was it? Last year? A year ago, excuse me. And now here they are again, having to potentially take down, well, the Heretics here in Spain.
You got to think about Masters Copenhagen as well. Same sort of situation up against FPX. You're in a U, you're playing an EU team.
That's right.
And they were able to do a pretty good job of it. I think this is somewhere that this team is so experienced. I don't really expect nerves to play a big role, but I don't know. It depends how loud that crowd gets.
That's right.
Yeah, it absolutely can apply pressure to a team. I think for them, PRX is still trying to find their identity this year since losing Jing. I feel like, inarguably, the most impressive player on that squad from last year. I mean, you have something too. It is actually arguable, but he was incredible. That's a big pair of shoes to fill for a guy like Monyet. But on the other side, it's all happiness for Team Heretics. They lost that match to Sentinels, and they've got to be beating themselves up over it a little bit, but they played them so damn close. They were counter-stratting them on some of these maps. They had excellent game plans. Their players were executing. It was Rian's first LAN match, and he was dominating.
In another world, this could very well just be Sentinels.
Yes,
honestly.
absolutely.
In another, you run that match back multiple times.
Different.
Exactly. And I think that is what makes it so scary for this PRX team, Mitch, to go up against a Heretics that is just gamed and ready to go because they got that confidence in them.
That's the thing, right? And from what we've seen, that confidence is only built series on series over this year. So there's a lot sitting opposite that stage that they're going to have to deal with in terms of shutting down players like Miniboo and his brother backing him up. Like, that utility combo is scary. And I didn't even add to it at the time. All of the other pieces of utility, we're probably going to save that for the post maps when we dive into it. But Rian's, he's been consistent on the Sova. But Patatek's flashes are out of this world. It's so good to see him back in the support role because he was born for that kind of play.
Let's talk about our maps. We're starting out on Sunset here. We've seen this already from both teams in Madrid. For Team Heretics, they looked really good, honestly, playing this Neon comp, stalling out with those stuns, and they're going to obviously go back to that one. But I want to focus a little bit here on PRX, because this is pretty much the only map this team will ever play no duelists. They're playing something on Gecko, and that's what I'm looking at. On defense, they had him opping a lot. They had him picking up the side anchor role, and it really felt like, to me, they weren't getting the maximum utilization out of his utility.
He was out of the fight so many times.
There's so many rounds where PRX was fighting forward, didn't have that Gecko flash because he was offing, because he was changing something up. But they did end up winning that map, and it was off of a really impressive attack side, which they're starting on now. However, Team Heretics has tape, they've had time, and I think this comp is preppable, especially with the trips and the stun that can really punish a no-dive comp.
And we talked a little bit about Neil Zinho, but I think Weber deserves a lot of credit for what we should see coming into this server. That guy has had time to look at those VODs, and that is really where things get scary, like Mimi said. Guy's a big brain player. He played on the server, and he's going to help them play today.
Yeah, well, we'll see, of course, how this works out as we have a Heretic squad that really wants to put on a show for their hometown crowd. Can PRX silence them, though? Let's send it over to your casters. Give a warm welcome to Brent and Sideshow.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, let's get to it. A bit of a barn burner for our opening map here. Sunset, the best map, arguably, for both of these teams, Heretics and PRX. And guess what? It's elimination time this early on. You wouldn't think it if you look at these teams, but they're both 0-1. And honestly, expectations up in the air for this one, really. You might think that maybe Heretics might be favored, given the fact that they barely lost out to Sentinels. But we are fast off the rip into this pistol round. A very quick beginning, but slow and cautious by PRX. Just no noise cues.
Yeah, they threw a knife over towards A at the beginning, so still 3 Heretics players committed to the A fight. Only the 2 of Benji and Rians holding over towards Market. So this is where we're going to see that Team Heretics retake. Their retakes have looked fantastic, but they haven't dealt with a Sage Wall yet, which is a really interesting kind of flavor to how you're going to play the post. Tends to funnel people all in predictable directions.
Monyet second guessing himself there, where he decided to send out a paranoia. What is the call to be made? Stand up. Monyet might be in a bit of trouble. Still, smoke up in his face. Wants to play the angle and timing around it with the util. Damage definitely done to a few of the players around the back, but the Heretics are still alive and kicking. Swarming now to side. Smoke down and out. Benji sticking through. Half on the defuse, but he's the last one left. And a couple of shots. It's all it takes to seal the deal. Pistol round here for PRX. Excuse me.
Yeah, pretty nice, fast-paced, got somebody in aggressive. You know, a lot of disruption there, actually, to the way that Team Heretics were trying to play the retake. The Sage Wall as well does not make things easy there. No. You're on the pistol round. You cannot afford to really spend the entirety of your ammunition breaking it. And especially if Devi's going to be able to get kills like that. That's 2 just through that crack in the wall.
Yeah.
Not even caught on the camera, but that's devastating, actually, for Heretics. That's the way that it ended up going. But we are going to see so many of those kind of rounds, I think, where PRX group up on one side of the map, hit the site with all of their utility, and I think Team Heretics might find it a little difficult to pick the mid-round timings that we've seen them get against other squads.
Doubled up with the trips, though. Can't claim the kill, unfortunate for old Benji.
A very similar look to the round again.
That plant straight down out.
This is even more unfair to Heretics, though, isn't it, with the weaponry on the other side of things.
Yeah, bits and pieces of util. I mean, if PRX decide to take the fight straight to them, which they have, okay, throwing away your lives ever so slightly. I mean, 4 players still left standing. Any guns to reclaim?
Oh, well, not for Devi. He's still just got a pistol to try to span the spike.
Yeah, and now they're going to be playing it from this main position. Still, the wall, smoke to at least carve their way through. They found it. Placement here. This is looking really precarious right now. PRX in a world of hurt. They have to manage themselves and find these kills. 1 player left. It's Mindfreak. And here it is. Patatech, half on a defuse. And time.
He's got it.
Might be just barely. It looks a bit rough. No, just about. Second to spare. Wonderful, wonderful eco round for Heretics.
Yeah, amazing. Once they got themselves up into the player advantage situation, that's where you saw the Heretics kind of system thrive. The stun from Miniboo and that swing from Rians could not have been better timed. Paranoia, Boo with the follow-up. This smoke that Boo lands as well, really lovely for making sure that the retakers only need to focus on one area at once. And the half that they got on the defuse, so crucial, so important. Now, take a look at PRX buying back into this one. Yeah. They are not happy to just let this one go. They have got plants in both of these rounds and a fair amount of kills, so the money's not dreadful here.
Still that danger towards it. Flash forwards with that Thrash is going to be setting this one up, so clears through into market. A couple of players backside. Detainment line there.
I don't think you can follow up on this.
No, surely not. I mean, he's being bodyguarded basically by 2 of his teammates, and Forsaken, not sure if that was just trying to follow it up. Patatech takes him out anyway. Holding at the ground, and still Miniboo left to contain. No gaps left into the play. Moniette will get the gun though.
And Moniette's position here is difficult to root out. The Sage Wall.
2 players not looking, twists and turns. They can't really find themselves an easy kill, but there it is. Okay, toppling. 2 left standing, make it just 1 again. Mindfreak. Close to the pillar. Damage definitely done to a few of them. Still how the shot's just landing. So, investment getting punished here by PRX. And I got down again.
I gotta say, I'm so impressed with Boo. The way that he runs these retakes and as the IGL, but also the way that he pats and he uses his utility. You saw his smoke being absolutely crucial in the previous retake. The Paranoia too. This time, as you can see, Rians and Paddy defending Benji. Miniboo comes around the back, and then Boo goes for the reflanking market too. That's his Paranoia you see there. Onto Moniette. Just making sure that all the gaps are solved, and they don't just have to run into Moniette over and over again. Finally, this is going to break the economy of PRX. Struggle as they might to try to keep guns on board, Heretics are going to be able to stabilize perhaps just a little here, unless the Sheriffs can sing. And for the first time, we see PRX going for more of a defaulty approach. Throwing that knife over towards A. Forsaken did that on the pistol as well, and it ended up in a B group up. It's fairly similar to what PRX are going for again here.
Yeah, contacting, removing the first layer of the trip. Out in the open with the util, no punishment. Onto Forsaken. Now the group up towards B, but it seems like Heretics have got good awareness of it. Benji Fishy's holding it down just with the rifle. The spam damage, no punishment in sight though with a counterplay.
Another one of these rounds.
But they want to play aggressive. Look at this. Straight into market. Paranoia push forwards. Blinded. Flashed up. Round to the side. There's no real guns and no real danger towards that. Cheeky idea, nevertheless.
I mean, I think that was a team flash, though, wasn't it? That was Forsaken's flash that came through and ended up blinding some of the PRX players that were trying to push.
It's feeling a little bit improv-y towards the back of the site. Traded. Dart. gliding his way straight to Divine. It points him directly to the target they were looking for.
And look at the confidence on the Heretics players. They're not scared to try to take these fights, especially when they can group up together.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an important part of what's making Team Heretics flourish on the big stage. Remember that they played and qualified without dropping a map, but it was all with ping. They had to play online because Rians couldn't get there to play at kickoff in person. So this was their first time, for starters, playing on a stage this big, playing in front of a crowd like this, but also playing on the LAN servers and getting used to that. Does it seem to have made the slightest bit of difference? Nope.
Not at all.
No.
Wouldn't expect it.
There's a lot of talk about, you know, rookies and how they perform when it comes to the big stage like this. But to be honest, there is no clear-cut correlation. New players don't always crumble on the big stage. New players don't always dominate. But Heretics seems to have those kind of people that love to step up to the occasion.
Oh, yeah.
And this is yet another example of what I think is kind of the theme of Masters Madrid, which is the old guard taking on the new upcoming talent. And PRX here representing that old guard. The old gods can fall. Team Heretics took down Na'Vi to be able to get to this point. They qualified over Fnatic, who are not here. They know that these gods can bleed.
Absolutely. Seen it firsthand for PRX. It's been quite some time since they've really just kind of spiraled out of control at a tournament. I mean, Champs 2022 comes to mind. PRX are no strangers to it. It's not like they've had dominance throughout their entire existence as an org, but based on the tail end of 2023, there are some relatively high expectations, I think, leveled against them.
Absolutely.
But for the players, maybe not so much. You know, they've spoken.
They said they were playing in a 6 out of 10 compared to
6 out of
last
10
year.
is what they were rating themselves. And
Yeah.
just kind of going into Madrid, I think, expecting to just have a bit of fun, which is the PRX way of things, a bit of style.
Well, it seems like they're scrimming the BXX at the moment, Brett.
Yeah.
That knife caught all 5 players.
So they know exactly it's a refight call. Panatech forwards. That flash is magnificent. The PRX are the ones coming out on top.
And the res, too.
Skirmish, the res, yeah. Already a fast flank. As soon as the knife tagged onto 5, Boo is fast behind him. Will he get the punish? Why? It's round, it's traded.
1 for 1.
Yeah.
But that's not good enough. That just opens up the A side of the map. Can Riens read it? Can he cut somebody off? Because otherwise, this looks like a round all wrapped up already for PRX. And this really begins because they expect PRX to stop when they get 5-person knife. If you remove all of the abilities from your opponents, you expect them not to keep hitting the W button. And yet PRX, nah.
They don't care.
Nah.
They do not care.
And that's why that flash timing doesn't quite work. Paddy's assuming that they'll have put a pause into their play here. Let's have a look at Riens and Benji, though, and see if they can recover this.
A lot to do for them. Now, Mindfreak on the flank is actually a wild ways off. He's going to have to work his way up through mid here. There's one opener still. Something shuts that down to Benji. Last one left, and it's the trade. So, PRX are the second one.
And that round, maybe a bit of a preview of things to come if PRX can find a little more success. Because I think one of the biggest ways that PRX are going to find win conditions in this is going to be by disrupting the timings that Heretics want to take.
It's all about a tempo.
Heretics have played against a lot of teams that play quite standard Valorant, where you can find good timings to re-clear, you expect them to slow down. The set plays that Heretics go for need a little bit of time and space to set up, and PRX, are they going to give them that?
Unlikely most of the time. Well, Boo TP close to tiles. He's holding a flash, but guess what? Mindfreak's already
off cam contact.
No, it's a smoke as well. He's holding the next layer of it. Mindfreak! Disgusting work, but Miniboo's still active, still kicking. Into the fight, back out of there, using the wall, not quite. They catch him on the heels.
Another situation again, Brent, where the cam contact that you can see them pinging out right now doesn't anticipate somebody going for a wide swing. If that's just a shallow little jiggle to spot anybody in mid, the cam takes contact, paranoia can be used, and Team Heretics can crunch the mid players. But instead, they just swung out fully and took the fight.
Purely W gaming.
So these setups that Heretics are using, not really optimized for the pace and the aggression that PRX are going to throw in.
We'll see how they adapt over the course of this series.
Spike planted.
So 2v3. Getting that info that everybody's playing towards main there with an Earl Theft. Wall broken. One less thing to really worry about here. But still one hell of a task. Need to rebound. Devi's going to be forced out wide. Shots need to be landed here by Benji. Flash to set it up. Everybody evacuating. Magnificent once more. And everybody topples. Beautiful supportive utility by Padatech.
Incredible stuff from Heretics there. That's the thing, if you give them the space, if you give them the time, these setups look immaculate. I think you were talking about it when Sentinels played against Team Heretics, that it looked like the two best teams in the tournament playing, back when you were on the desk for that game. And I think when Heretics are allowed the space to set these things up, God, the nade into the back, the flash to clear, catches onto everybody, they read that the teleport's happening, they've already set up the cage, it just looks so good. And that's why I'm saying the win condition for PRX is to find timings to disrupt those setups, to try to catch Paddy with the flash in his hand.
Weaponry is a little bit uneven for PRX. Again, grouped up as 5. Really not too much in terms of changing the game plans with an old man sent flying. Puts its way through, so not have to worry about our setup, but this is a fight towards the back of the side, actually. Something has been changed now. Smoke's dropped into the corner. Will they check it? Not quite. It's a half clearance. Benji is blinded. He does not care. 3 falling. Hunter's Fury clearing up the remnants. The pit's down, but really, it's just a matter of time. And Mindfreak, you can feel it. Despair settling. Dread in the bones, tagged up by the drone, no chance.
Benji looks amazing, man. He just looks amazing. He was talking all this tournament about how he wanted to grind his way up through Valorant, didn't want to use his clout to hop onto a top team early. And he really did put in the work in Tier 2.
Oh, yeah.
Even when he joined this squad, people were not immediately saying, oh, Team Heretics are going to be superb instantly. I did not expect them to be here in Madrid, but now that they are, what is this?
Yeah, just disgusting work.
Anticipating the timing of those players so perfectly to even catch something afterwards. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. The new era that players like that are ushering in.
2024 looking exciting for Valorant. Danger in this round with Mindfreak. He's managed to work his way in, just walking past this. Does Boo expect it? Believe he must have called it. No, his head's gone. Oh my. Mini Budo returns it with the stun, back round the side, using the wall. Could feign like he's dipped out of the side, but still continues to play into this in a one and done angle. But there it is. Thrash in connection, detained it. Mini Boo's there, so he needs to be protected. Padatech flashed up though, he has to back away into the smoke, and there's the kill. Secured, follow up. Sheriff is online. Monyet. Disgusting work, and everybody just being traded out.
Benji got a 3K in the previous round, but it wasn't as difficult as all of this. He has no great information about where PRX are playing and has to break this wall, giving away exactly what angles he's going to be fighting on.
PRX not leaving this one to chance. Doubled up, high-low setup, crouch, but they don't know where he might be coming from. Peeking for the info. I was a believer.
That's unreal.
I was a believer for a second, yet it's barely scraped through for PRX.
The metal box ends up being the MVP there for PRX.
Oh my God.
As it took half of the bullet, headed straight for Devi. Nevertheless, an example of why PRX's A exec can be so dangerous there. Heretics got kind of roped in, pulled in to trying to fight as one player at a time got put into bad situations. And Miniboo gets caught and they try to bail him out, and then Riens is tempted to swing through the smoke to try to bail the next layer out. And here we see the economy finally in a good enough spot. Something to pick up the attack side off.
Isn't that interesting? I mean, they do it a lot.
Yeah,
doesn't matter what role something's playing, they really do favor this, just trying to slow the rounds down and find those picks.
I think the slower you make these rounds, the more you open yourself up to Miniboo re-clearing areas with a flash.
He's repositioning here. Danger, yeah. The crosshair placement wasn't online, and as the reswing of Boo, it's punished almost immediately. Padatech is forwards in front of the util, in front of the slow.
But there was a timing. There was a ping, there was a beep from the Dizzy, so they know that there's someone around.
Yep, using a paranoia to clear. That's just pure timing based on that. As soon as the flash comes through, pixel angle for Riens, not enough to clear the head off one of the bodies. Plant will go down without any problems.
Spike planted.
2v4 doesn't look doable. At some point might be starting to think about the call to save this now. Surely Rians will even be allowed to exit. He makes a good go of it. Gotta respect it.
Yeah, the players are still looking sharp on Heretics. It's a good job that PRX were able to swing so readily there to try to trade out. But it's the 2 picks they get at the start that really open things up. And that was a little unusual from Heretics. They did not read that the op was online here, I don't think. Yeah. They went for a dry re-clear. No utility used. Usually Heretics are the king of cooking up these on-the-fly set plays. And they're going to take a timeout here. The coaching staff clearly not quite happy with what they saw in that round, and I bet it's something to do with the way that Miniboo and Boo, the brothers, just kind of walked into those angles at the start of the round.
And normally, I mean, listen, talking about something with this operator, I'm not a huge fan of it when I've been watching him play with it just prior. They really got punished hard, I think, in the EDG match, where they just weren't showing presence. They weren't given the opportunity for pickoffs.
And Heretics themselves could play more passively, trying to play for retakes. I'm not sure that that would be the best strategy, though. PRX have been known to mix in some of those contacting plays, especially in the rounds where they have the op online. Yeah. And that you can get into some really uncomfortable spots when that's happening. Forsaken ready to go with another null command. So that could end up being quite important here. We've seen PRX leaning B very heavily at the start of this half. And now swapping over to mostly doing A executes.
The option now of going pretty rapidly into B once more. That's what they did last time they had the ult. Despite all that prior conditioning, but I imagine speed probably not the name of the game. Something opping. Said, set the sights towards mid. Flash play to set up early on so Miniboo can get onto that line of sight angle. Sets himself up nicely. They do show presence.
Yeah, and if something wanted to get set up with the operator over towards A, then that would make it a little more difficult for him. But instead, Device escorting something up mid. And these players that were falling away from A could have fallen prone to it. Instead, here comes the B split.
Hello.
Benji's util offline.
2 different directions. So, all being used to clear out through market on top of the wall. It's anticipating Rians. Nasty business. A nasty shot. Mosh in through the back. Just the slightest of gaps. Something's head's gone clean off, rolling off the shoulders here, through the back of the site. Once more paranoia, but no, doesn't expect the deeper angle. Miniboo just playing so passively there, patiently, making sure he guards all the available openings. Munyet forwards now, he knows he has to take risks. There's a slight gap, he's seen the cross. There's a lot more to do here, needs a bloody miracle. Holding, there's one. Can he get any more? 6 bullets left. Smoke fading. Paranoia just in time. They're tracing and chasing down the fight. Mindfreak, he's there. Battle taken up close and personal. Headshots found, but still 11 HP. Munyet, he can't do it. They know he's low. And all it takes is a few stray bullets.
A lot of danger in that round too, despite the fact that a couple were picked off over towards market. Great recovery though from Heretics. You could see the anticipation with the way the Divide pushed into market there. They were so ready for that swing on top of the Sage wall. Here it is from Rians again. As soon as the wall goes up, Crosshair gets adjusted. And this, the Mosh is thrown to try to set up the Mosh, Paranoia, and try to put pressure and fight really aggressive for Boba and stop Team Heretics going for that retake style. And instead, it just exposes something's head for a fraction of a moment. And that's enough for Heretics to get an even larger player advantage. That operator now in hands of the defending Sova.
Oh, okay.
So if you haven't got enough of your initiator op from Something's attack side, have a look at this one from Rians.
Still the contact play style. I mean, this creates openings. Rians is only just getting onto the line though. Nade into the corner. That's to remove some of those unbreakable trips.
Only gets rid of one.
Wall up once more. Rians doesn't get the pick. Eyes off the shot though. Man, fully revealed, spamming through, stopping off the plan and the damage done with the Hunter's Fury. Has to be an escape from Meunier. He will TP just to the side to narrowly avoid it. But this has thrown a lot of chaos into the mix. Lovely shock dart. And it all really relies on Mindfreak. He's in mid right now. Someone's going to be watching him though. Mosh pit into the corner as Benji survives. He's pushed out wide. Mindfreak and something. They both get it with the res online. Suddenly, this player advantage. It's flipped onto the other side of things. Heretics, they don't know which way to look towards right now because Mindfreak is deep within the spawn. They have to try and contain this one, plug the gaps before they set up for these Big retake, executes, still 37 seconds. They've got the spike back and they're running all the way over towards A. I mean, it is just pure mayhem in Madrid.
That one is bizarre. We're watching the fight as it happens in mid, and two players in backside went for a swing on defense and both fell at the exact same time the res went up. Now, from our perspective, I can't tell whether the res baited the swing out, and that was a really nice coordinated play, or whether Team Heretics just ended up trying to face that, and it offered an opportunity for Devi to get the res.
Maybe just facing with Benji getting pushed out by the mosh pit.
Yeah.
Having to protect him, you know, maybe just
super possible.
Stand the ground, see if they can survive by just taking the fight with more players. But it's left just Miniboot reeling in this one, has to save.
Yeah.
Forced back with the rifle. I mean, a really, really odd round, just those strange diamonds being thrown into it.
And actually, Devi's Resurrect getting really large value the 2 times that it's been used. It's not often you say that about a Sage ult, actually. So, Heretics, the bonus for them is that they'll be given this round as like a little mini timeout. They can talk about what went wrong there, what they're looking to readjust for the final round. But PRX have now crept up to 5. A reminder, this was the better half for them. Last time we saw it played. But I think this comp should have theoretical value. So yeah, they went for the res before the peaks happened. They were, as you said, Brent, just trying to get that punish onto the mosh being used in backside.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Mindfreak got the kill in mid.
So it's just a battle on multiple fronts. Here we are, final round now of this first half. Big ult online, Thrash for something. Will be opted to use this. In fact, Heretics want to take the paint straight to them. It's out the paranoia, all offloaded.
And 3 players found.
Main control, yeah, with that knife deep into the angle.
So PRX are calling the fast reaction into A, which is where Benji's playing. With a kill trip and a Vandal.
Yeah, kill trip and a Vandal, but the Thrash surely clears the way here, spotting multitude of targets forwards into the smoke. Trips, he's waiting for it, the right time to strike, but Nade pushes him away. The plant is online, out in the open. Strange with a post-plant scenario, but plenty of using angles.
Here it is.
The same wall being played. Now they should be aware of this, yet it still gets value with the flash setup. All online, and yet it's not cleared off this angle just yet. Still wants to play up top, still wants to combine it all with the aggression. Devi through the back of the site. It's PRX, even it flawless for the final round here of our first half.
Love that setup too. They've got Devi even pushing a link at the same time, so they set up the highest of high-low setups. One player in the skybox while the other swings. Awesome setup to draw things level at the half. As PRX won 4 out of 5 of the last rounds.
Absolutely treated here. The best map of both of these teams, arguably. See them evenly matched. I mean, who knows what we got in store for the second half. Oh, they are loving it. They are loving it. Just here to have fun at the end of the day. Well, absolutely ridiculous so far. Still, on the floor, let's send it down to Mika. She's standing by with a special guest for an interview.
What's up, everyone? I'm here with a very, very special guest. We have Mixwell here, and we can hear the crowd roaring. This is electric, and how are you enjoying the match?
The match so far is insane. I think that PRX is playing really well. It's the best maps of both teams. So I think the best of 3 is kind of decided in this game, and both teams are playing at their best, so I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, well, on behalf of Pacific, Team Heretics is playing very, very well as well. You guys are making us sweat over in Asia. And speaking of which, EMEA and Pacific, we have very, very different styles, right? Which team would you rather play against? Something more structured or something more chaotic like PRX?
I think playing against PRX for the first time is maybe more scary, but after you see them playing once, I think Team Heretics has a more complete style. So I think I would rather play against PRX than Heretics.
Yeah, I think the crowd agrees with you. And of course, Nilzinho is somebody that you have a very close relationship with. You know him for a while. What do you think he's thinking right now at this very moment?
I think he's calming the players because it's important to start strong on the second half. He's someone that reminds you what he has prepared for you before the match. And he's probably just saying, guys, keep playing like you're playing really well. Remember what we talked about before and just enjoy the moment because the crowd is cheering for you, something like that.
Speaking of the crowds, really quick, say something to our fans.
Chicos, tenemos que ganar este partido sea como sea y vosotros sois el 6º jugador, así que gritad como nunca, por favor. ¡Vamos!
All right, let's get back into the game.
Maxwell's got a future, I think, in crowd work as well. I mean, this guy, he knows.
Get him paired up with Zekon's mum.
Telling you, yeah. I mean, they know the right things to say. Me, I am an idiot. Only know the one language. So,
well, as they say in Spain, vamos.
yeah, perfectly executed.
Yep, Gracias.
Never inviting us back to Spain. First round, pistol round for the second half. Let's see how it goes. It's fast off the rip with a flash play. Mini Boo. Forwards up front, taking it to the fight straight to them. Many targets to face him, but guess what? His team's got his back. There were the follow-up. Finally, something now with a reposition. Doesn't really want his back open to that spot. Wingman being broken down.
Look how reluctant PRX are to actually rotate fully over to A, and they've been rewarded for it. They find the lurk there. Team Heretics had a 3v1 on the A site for like the last 20 seconds, and they paused, allowing opportunities for PRX to come back into this.
Oh, the space. Look at this. Down into bottom section of mid, but they are fully grouped up. It's 3 players holding hands. They don't want to leave any mistakes open here. Dubai.
Missed the timing.
The timing.
Does Mindfreak look left?
Does he look left? Yes, he does. And he spots a hole. Oh, that's juicy targets once more. There's one falling. Boo. Down and out, but now they know it's B. Jig is up.
And these players, they are going to get crunched here. I mean, Mindfreak's going to be coming behind at the same time as pressure is applied through market. This is going to be so tough for Heretics.
He's got the dart. But seriously, man, this is just wide out into the open. Ghost moment certified there. Pissed around. Another one for PRX.
They're going to be kicking themselves for that decision making after managing to find 2 picks at the beginning and setting themselves up with such an advantage, deciding to put that pause into the round. As soon as Benji gets picked off, you lose all info and control over the rest of the map. And PRX, it is so unusual to see a team still playing 1-1-1 after Elbow's been destroyed. But yeah, ended up working perfectly for PRX. Anticipation perhaps of that pause coming through. They were not scared.
That's all smiles, man. They really are just here to have a good time. Leveled their own expectations. Here's a deep knife. Forwards with the dizzy. I mean, where do you think the Heretics players are? I've got more than a good guess. Just holding, expecting maybe just that re-clearance, re-push.
When we saw PRX playing up against EDG, when PRX were on the defense side, outside of the pistol and the follow-up, they only won 2 of the rifle rounds.
Ooh!
So, even though these are absolutely plastered, it remains to be seen how they're going to get it done once rifles are on board.
Do we mix it up? Double down?
They did struggle. Even though they're 8-6 in the lead right now, you need to see it working in rounds where Team Heretics can fight back. There is only one player on the other side of things still with light armor. That's Rians, as we head into the next round. So Forsaken's Outlaw is going to struggle to get a little bit of value.
Respect being showcased here. For Heretics, there's no spread default. A rapid take of B main control is what's called and ordered. The Bulldog, well, just all bark, no bite there. Loses out the duel. Mini Boo, this guy!
Outrageous.
He's just ripping him to shreds.
That's so strong. I mean, aim punched as well by the Bulldog in the first fight.
Okay, well, weakened enough though that Forsaken does get value with the Outlaw. Tagged up by it, mosh pit forwards. Still haven't got the plant down, by the way. Being pushed back. Finding it difficult to get that time, but finally it goes through the window with the dizzy up over the top, but no connections. Now the paranoia and a flash underhanded to clear it forward. Positions, no way are they going to start winning this one out. Surely not. Heretics doubled up. Close to the wall, Rians side by side, him and Benji Fishy, but a position of being squeezed. How are they managing that?
They just win both the duels in that situation. PRX have their pick of the timings. Monya and Something have done such an incredible job up until that point. Something managed to turn a double face into a 1v1, got the kill. Monya kills somebody, B-main, but they can't close it out, even though they're coming from opposite sides, can pick their timings. Look at that kill through the aim punch. Utilizing the flash to force his opponent into the corner, and then the recon to be able to get the illumination on his opponent. Good response, right when they needed it. Something has picked up the operator.
Onion's gone walkabout, okay. Early kill onto Boo. Might throw things into a bit of disarray. There's a deep smoke. This was placed down early. I mean, Heretics, they've cooked this one up. They were pinging it out just into the pre-round, but they've all got it contained. PRX following through with it, and Mindfreak's there. They've just got it watched for. Top mid, spike drop down. Rian's the last one left, and he's gone. In the blink of an eye, round finished.
Team Heretics are going to go for that mid play quite a lot, where they smoke the right side of mid and apply some pressure. Sometimes it's going to be fake, sometimes it's real. And PRX there threatened like they were just going to walk through the smoke. And that actually pulled the crosshair away quickly enough for Miniboo. The PRX were able to find really easy timings. Even if they hadn't taken down Boo at the beginning, like an absolute freebie, I think PRX had a great protocol for what to do against that. And you can see the market pressure got dealt with instantly too. Just a wall in the face of the drone. And that is such a difference to the way that, for example, Sentinels would play this KO Gecko comp. Here's that same smoke again. Like I said, Heretics love this kind of setup. Smoke, instead of blooming in mid, just cuts off one side of it. Stops any crossfire setup. But it's not always going to be real pressure.
Deep pop angle as well. Something getting all sorts of mid-round information. And yet it's the really one in danger. Yeah, here it is. I mean, the jiggle peek for information gets the head clean off.
Gotta be honest with you, I didn't even see Miniboo.
Forsaken now going to be tucking, cowering. Needs a bit of backup, and he's got it. In the form of Devi. Top round the guns. Set Miniboo up for success. Flash repeat, and it is good. Damage there. And a kill. Still it's traded. Hunter's Fury negated.
Perfect.
Yeah, beautiful work there with the ult. Good timing from Forsaken as well, because he was tagged up. He was the one who was really in danger of going down. Here, tagged up by the cam, backing away, and it's a lot of chaos strewn into the mix. One player.
Can Boo dodge it? Yeah. Does that make a difference? Does he perhaps call them back over towards A? It looks quite committed.
And he's just spotted him. Benji Fishy out wide. Does he expect another play? Yes, he does. Mindfreak. Unrelenting from the spot. Will not give anything away. Boo. Earns the ult, but no time left, surely. 15 seconds left. Is he really going to make a go of this one? He's getting the move on. Listen, I know he's got the new knife set, but it doesn't actually make you move any faster. 9 seconds. He wants to go for it. 7 seconds. Shut down.
Predicted, dealt with. Little disappointing the way that Heretics were posted up in B main there, just one at a time, swinging forwards, instead of trying to get somebody posted with Benji. There are multiple angles there that need to be covered. This play, though, great idea from Forsaken. Really nice punish of that ultimate being used, but it's this moment I'm wondering about. Paddy is just kind of looking at the wall while Rians sets up a dart. I feel like he could have been double holding that. Nevertheless, PRX are squeezing away, and I was setting expectations for this defense half based on what we saw when PRX played against EDG. Right? And we saw that the defense half, actually, they weren't able to get those rounds on the board very easily. But here, it's looking great at dealing with what Heretics have. There's been clear improvement and awareness of the kind of things that Heretics want to do. That mid play in particular.
Yeah. Had the right answers. Almost everything that's gone thrown their way.
And this is now the final timeout for the Heretics coaches to try to have some of their own input. And we're pretty far away from the finish line. It'd have to be another 6 rounds that Heretics get on the board. Twice as fast as PRX. To be able to get the win here, and you heard it from Mixwell's mouth earlier on, he said the winner on Sunset is probably going to win the BO3. Now, I think Heretics still has win possibilities on Lotus and Split, but if Heretics end up getting stomped here, puts a very different flavor on the series for sure.
Really does. A team like PRX stepping up at the right moments.
I'm out of here.
Here it is, fast. Through with the paranoia. Through into elbow now with the dart.
Careful here.
A couple of waves of that util, making sure all of it is clear, but it's given up entirely for the retake. PRX, look at them, happy for it.
And this comp is really good at retaking too. You have a lot of utility to throw out. Between the Gecko, the KO, and the Paranoias, it can be overwhelming.
One-way smoke blocks off one yet, so he can't actually fight into that angle. Still, a chance for Devi. He's not smoked off at all. Miniboo, no way, drops down. Damage done, but still hits the head. Here, traded forwards, detained into the corner. Left cowering, Forsaken. Can't adjust the aim in time. It's good movement from Briens, but he will fall regardless. Man sent flying, cage in his face, something not to be deterred. The Molly to set that one up, out through elbow.
I think Boo just spotted the tip of the operator there.
Now it's been called, a bit of a pause, pump the brakes. Wait, it's out. Smoke online, Mind Freak.
I know exactly.
I'm guessing it's the right timing, wants to take it with a neural theft. Forwards there. No danger with a mosh pit. Second burst and a neural theft as well, so the position is revealed. The shot fired off, something.
He's so fast.
He's hoping to take a rapid
elbow.
reposition, isn't he? Yeah.
He will have to slow down a little just to check these positions. And the longer he takes, the more Heretics should start to think about different angles. Here, Boo gets smoke over towards A-Link, allows Benji to hold.
He's holding the angle. Now it all comes down to this one angle and one fight shot going wide. Repositions back together. Doubled up. There should be no danger in this round. Should be no danger at all. Should be no danger at all, he says still.
And look at something. He knows it's over. Scratching his head, forced to try to save and reposition. Perhaps even a little frustration. I don't know how, but he seems to expect himself to hit shots like that. But it's going to be Heretics getting up to 8. As something escapes with the operator online. There were plenty of moments where that could have gone wrong. Another situation, actually, where Miniboo is still able to get the entry going. Despite the fact that he's been shot at by an opponent. He's like already so weak by the time he manages to land that kill on Divine. Is that a little nod of respect for how good the entry was, or is he looking at somebody else's kills? Something looking to set up an early peek here, perhaps? Often there's going to be a cam with a paranoia to go off-cam info, but Benji's over towards B this time. Something backs off. Didn't like the look of things early on. And Benji's got his cam actually inside Mind Freak's pit. Could end up being useful at some point.
Oh, well. Knife going to be at least taking down all the kit here. Mosh pit held. Ready for some sort of play to punish. Where does it land? Not a clue.
It's for an elbow retake. They're going to throw that in paranoia, I think, if Monyet can get this and get out.
Walks forwards. Not expecting to be up there.
Madness.
I mean, massive gap in the playbook, at least in terms of the timings that he was taking inside his head.
Yeah, the fact that there isn't a piece of utility for anybody that could be holding close there. I was really expecting the paranoia to be coming through, but he just ran it down.
There are large holes, and that knife gives good information. Minimum 2 players tagged up by it. Something's got the op. If they walk onto this line, they could be in danger. Now Heretics do have util. Yeah, underhanded flash forwards. Alt sent flying. Still the shot will connect. Drops Padatek down to his knees. Rebaking Forsaken. You are absolutely nuts for that. He needs some help and he needs it fast. Another shot missed and going wide forwards with the rifles. Claiming the territory, claiming the ground. Slow orb. Rebounding. The options are so damn limited. Where the hell is this one going? He's out wide into the open. Rians. Peeking into it. Footsteps heard. Another shot missed. Res online here. Wall in their faces. Res now here. Towards the back of it with something going. Down a spray. Just can't be managed. Can't be wrangled. Forward in time. Mind Freak. 2v2. Turns it into it here. Still with the op. Sends him out. Wingman flying. Mind Freak falling. That was the only rifle player. But now the upgrade. At least the side grade picked up. Something's here. Still, it's a lot to handle, a lot to manage. Doesn't know the positions. Miniboo's playing tucked to really the safety at the back of the side. So yeah, just got to give it up once more. Another round win here for Heretics.
And Boo and Miniboo, they'll give their lives for it over towards the end of the round. But both of them played that situation beautifully. It's their duels that end up making the difference. You'll see that Boo was the only player ready to stop them. Here, this duel. Had Devi got that, it's curtains. And Miniboo on the other side held down a really important push from Mind Freak. 2 straight up 1v1s, where Boo and Miniboo are holding angles, they get the duel win, and it pushes them across the line with the player advantage. None of the fancy set play stuff. Just guns out gaming. You know, maybe one day, Brad, we'll see Excura on this team as well, and we can have the Susano brothers playing up against the Boo brothers, you know?
Maybe.
And Screaming Rivera come back.
Yeah.
And we have a tag team.
Perfect word. I mean, as a Santo family, they run deep when it comes to playing video games.
They do.
I've seen the streams of his younger brother.
There is an older Boo brother as well.
Listen, just get them all involved, man. Let's have a family reunion on the big stage.
Yeah, get Golden Boy to cast it like it's WWE.
He would love that.
Oh my God!
Absolutely, he's looking at me, he's nodding. He would love that.
Is that the Susano Brothers music? I mean, it would go crazy. But what a game we've got here. Both of these teams wrestling with each other, trying to figure out the ways to be able to get past different setups. That round, it felt like it should have been a bit of a gimme for Heretics because they were offered that pick at the very beginning, over through elbow, with Monyet just kind of running it down. As part of a set play, right? But it does make Monyet look a bit silly in the moment. And now the economy, not in a great spot for PRX. Team Heretics favored to tie this one back up. Absolutely anybody's game on Sunset.
Deep flash. Just walking to set it up with the dart against the back of things. So nobody holding close towards B. Delayed knife. Good info. Surely gathered.
Yeah, and that, I think, is going to cancel the hit.
Everybody's pushed, though, from PRX. Look at this.
I think Heretics think this is a B stack. I am not sure they're going to anticipate 3 players being pushed out A here. You know, when it's quiet on B, but you end up getting knifed, and there's a smoke in your face, you think, okay, they're going to start rotating here to stack the site, and it's only really Boo and Benji watching behind. They do have a trip. Things here should be somewhat safe, but they're stuck in B main right now. And the timing.
Push off the angle, finally noise being made. Nade going, flying forward, something. He wins his fight with the duels, at least with the rifles. It's traded out, falls, and another pause put into the play here with 45 seconds left. What do they choose to do? Forsaken, ADS. Going to be a bit of a demon with it here. Flash forwards as well, no connection from it. They are really stuck in place, finding it difficult to get through any of their stuns now. Flying and rip forwards with the wall on top of it. The entire team decides it. We're going to take backside. We're going to take it now. Together. Brute force is the goal. Going to get that plant down now into the post. Even just stepping forwards into Boba. Divine didn't have a rifle in his hands, but at least Forsaken does still. Looking for the wraparound. Players, plenty of them. Ready for the targets here. Heads could pop and heads could come clean off. Still watching. And damage low enough. One shot in the chamber. Monyet sends it. Holy. What is that?
That's an unbelievable round! PRX had them scrambling. Team Heretics just heads on a swivel the entire time. A lack of decisiveness there, I think. A decision had to be made. Do we go and push into the players flanking us? Do we commit to site? All right, in the end, with 35 seconds left, they decided to go towards the site. But even then, once they got to Boba, they didn't commit forwards. They went back towards the site and allowed themselves to get tangled up again. I mean, you could just see how uncomfortable that was from the Heretics' point of view. And frustration in the camp. That was their opportunity to tie things up at 10-10. They had the economy punished for PRX, and now it's them coming into the round with Sheriffs. Disaster.
They're going to need something similar, aren't they?
And what a piece of PRX magic, just when they needed it. Now, as much as the triple push out of A, despite all of the B presence, did work for them in the previous round, this time there's only Mindfreak home, and if Team Heretics step on the gas here, PRX are going to have to play retake.
Fully given enough here. Top mid, flash forwards with the rifles. Oh my goodness.
How has that happened?
Sheriff kills still. Cleared out. He can't escape with the ult. Looking for it. 3 versus 3 though. There's still that danger there. Backside again, cool made, walking up for now. It's Miniboot and Paditech. Anything to set this up? No, Yuto, they just want to take it. Raw aim, raw gunfights. Rian's last one forwards. Presses the advantage, or at least he thought there was one there. It's Forsaken who shuts that down. So up to 12 now for PRX.
Forsaken did everything he possibly could in that round just to get them up to map point. Had a flash for the first peek. His teammates fumbled it. He's there, the safety net, the backbone of the team, as he has been all tournament.
Yeah.
I don't think he was the best player for this team during kickoff, but at Madrid, he's given us that classic Forsaken performance. So consistent and good for the multi-kills in all of these really big rounds. So up to map point, PRX here, and looking like they want to start the round again with a stack on the A site. Team Heretics might be set up for a fast play themselves.
Here's the coin flip here with a util sent flying, offloaded. yet, though. He's deep onto the angle, deep onto the line. Another nade. Don't know if it was a tenor for that particular spot, but still he's there. Fakes the TP. Forwards of a slow orb. They have funneled them now. Team Heretics, they want nothing to do with this area. With the wall down, luckily. Player remaining behind, just enough to break it.
And Team Heretics, they do that same smoke in mid, and they have options here. Do you try to put some pressure in mid? Do you try to put some pressure market? PRX playing passively throughout middle of the map, but actually getting a lot of information on the extremities. B main, A main, held by Mindfreak and Devi.
On the precipice now. No casualties, of course, but when it's slowed down to this, anything could happen. Something, there's no way. Going for walking straight down towards it. Politics there, there's a trade. Miniboo, fast on the response. Now forwards to the wall here with the drone. It just fades away and breaks. Forsaken is out wide. Just around the ankles, walking for the mid-round. Is Munyet out into mid, lost. Man's just in the source here. Devi forwards, looks to just reclaim some of that ground here. Maybe a kill might do it. Maybe it might, but still Team Heretics are too disciplined. Well drilled. They do not want to let it slip now.
4v1 for Heretics to be able to deny the first of the map points that PRX have got. This round was so bizarre. PRX really scrambled by the slower pace. Team Heretics didn't put anybody on the outer wings of the map, grouped up in mid, and just waited for PRX to push for information. But what confuses me a little bit, Bren, is they already had good info over towards A main and B main. They knew that nobody was trying to actually take space in A main. You know, after the drone came through, one of them could have broken it, maybe set up some play to gain info afterwards, but they just went for a walk re-clear of mid twice. Once with something, and then once with Munyet, I believe it was, afterwards. So that's a lovely lifeline for Team Heretics to grasp hold of. There are still 2 chances here for PRX to be able to close out map 1.
We've been hammering on about how important this initial map is. You know, Sunset, one of the best maps for both of these teams. And even Mixwell as well in that halftime interview talking about it. Whoever wins map 1, he reckons will win the entire series. That's just how important it is. You can feel it. Tensions are running high here. The new guard versus the old guard. Chances slipping away despite the early beginnings to the series.
Now Team Heretics have seen that PRX have begun stacking the A site at the start of these rounds. So if this is a little faster towards B main, I wouldn't be surprised. But Miniboo's not there, so that entry power...
What's with the timing?
What's going on here?
Cam broken. They want to try and fight this one forward. Still,
they missed Benji.
They're weaving in and out the smokes. Yeah, this is just a confusing round all in all. Miniboo, he's through market. It's a walk through the window, man. He's already worked his way through and stuns up. Connects. Might break. He's still stunned. Hunter's Fury, though. Connection wide here. Something back into it. It's chaos, man. Pure chaos. But can you expect anything less? PRX, they thrive in it. Born in it, molded by it. Benji left to pick up the pieces and maybe forge something out of it, but it's a triple face. You do not stand, you fall against this team. Map 1 goes entirely their way.
In classic PRX fashion, the final round. The thrash comes through, and I think got to detain on both players trying to follow up on Miniboo. And those rounds, one team looks like they're in a disadvantage. A couple players in B main stuck inside the smokes, Mindfreak, Munyet, and yet their team bails them out.
An insane map 1, but plenty more to go. Do not go anywhere you know you're not going to want to miss it.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of us?
Oh, no problem.
Thanks.
Ooh, yes, problem. You need Verizon. Trade in that old thing and get a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage, so you can take all the pics. So many selfies.
A preposterous amount of panos!
That means panoramic. And as many portraits of me as your heart desires.
How about none?
None, yeah, none feels right.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition and get iPhone 15 Pro and iPad and Apple Watch SE all on us. Only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.